So I have a couple game ideas I thought I would share with you guys that I've been thinking about making, and should put them on paper. This one, I'm not sure how I'd want to make the view, or even make the view changeable. But basically what you have here is a 3D island, and you are a ball. The ball would have powers like spike in place, so you'd press a button and it would emit spikes which would cause it to stick. There would be jumpy springs for super bounces, maybe an option to where you'd hover for 2 seconds, and you would have the ability to do a normal jump. So there's two different ways I thought about controlling it. One way is you move the island using your tablet's, what's that called, a gyroscope? So you'd hold the screen, you'd move it around, the ball would roll, and then you could jump, spike, hover. There'd be different levels: easy, medium, hard. Each map would be a new island. And in order to win, there would be different aspects like points, time, and coins. So there'd be coins on there. There may even be enemies, and you would want to roll and grab the coins, go underground, come up out of underground so you'd get the other coin, and then go through the end hole. To finish that level. So you might have one where you're on top of this and you go off the side, roll down it, go in the hole, grab a couple coins, come out, bank up a thing, hit a bouncy thing, and go through the hoop, and you'd be done. That might be a level. You could have all the different levels like that. That was one of my games. Not sure what I'd call it. Another piece of software that I thought about making would be called, I was thinking like VirtualMillionair or Millionaire Simulator, Billionaire Simulator. You could have different time frames like 2015 presets, and you could have loadable presets. What a preset would be like every single income job role. So if you picked a certain preset job role for 2015, it would contain real stats that can be found online. So if your job role was a culinary, you could pick a certain education. It would give you so much a year, and for any of these you could choose other and enter whatever amount you wanted. So if you wanted to put in that you made $250,000 a year, you could put that here if you wanted to. Or you could play with the presets. So certain jobs may require certain education in order to get, which you could always put in freelance and however much you actually make. So if you want a certain education, it would come with a cost and an amount of time. You'd have to apply for jobs, and they would have a success rate. So you may go months without a job. You might start out with a base income or a base amount of money like $2,000, or maybe even less than that. Maybe no money. Haven't really put too much thought into it, but just kind of going with it. Education costs, you kind of get the idea. So there'd be a total number of years that this simulator would run for. You could put in other, so you could put 100 years if you wanted to, you know, but I think the preset would be for 30 years. You could change job maybe every 6 months, or every year, or every 2 years, or not at all if you wanted to. You might have a risk percentage of what the chance is that your company could close or you could lose your job based off real statistics. You'd have investments and the risk that comes with those investments. So say you did high risk stocks and the average was this chance of getting this much interest or this much loss. Well, then you would get those real investments, and you could have multiple different types of investments. You could put other and what the risk and percentage gain is if you had an actual investment that you were doing and you were sure of those stats. Your personal life would contain categories like food, and if you purchase a certain food, your monthly cost. So you could have, like, if I want this kind of food, this is the average cost. If I eat out, this is the average cost. If I smoke, it will take off my years based off real statistics. If I sleep around, it will take off years based off real statistics. If I get married, it will add years based off real statistics. If I learn martial arts, it'll either cost money, but maybe I'll have a better chance to win a fight if I get in one. Or at the end of the game, it could just show all my completion, like how much money I earned. It could have charts. It could say my martial arts level was black belt. I did this many years of it. I went to church this many days. There could be a church in game that you could go to that plays random Bible verses and has user-supported hymns. And that's kind of what I was thinking about for this piece of software. Kind of had this idea on my mind for a while as a tablet game, and it would have to have an announcer like red car versus blue car, and there could be other things like white truck, etc. And there'd be different vehicles that would race. Over here you have a nitrous button and a speedometer. So the pedal's to the floor. As soon as the timer hits, the pedal is automatically to the floor. So all you got to do is reach over here and touch this, and whenever it gets to the right place, shift. And then it'll boo. If you get a perfect shift, you'd get a nitrous button. So you'd have to reach up here with your other finger, tap the nitrous button, in which case your vehicle would tilt up and you would get a speed charge. And this would be the mini map to the finish. And you would want to get as many perfects as you could, shifting as the speedometer went, and getting the nitrous buttons. And when you hit the nitrous buttons, it's going to be like flames coming out, exhaust, car tilting up, wheels squilling, type stuff. So it'd be a really action-packed racer game for a tablet or some kind of touchscreen device. Another one I had thought about would be AnimalCars, where you could be a wolf. This was a 100% 3D game, and the wolf would have a power where it howls and it stretches out and gets a speed boost for so many seconds. The frog could jump, get a super jump, and the glider could possibly fly or glide, and could possibly drop a wheel. So you could have levels similar to the island game, but I would want really radical 3D levels. So we're talking racing down the center of a volcano, or ice that can break and stuff like that. Here you could have a super jump, just an insane jump, and you could use the wolf's speed to get the most height and then try to land on these platforms. Or you could have the glider fly and try to drop things on the platform as goals. It'd be nice if it was a roam feature to where it could be multi-played, to where like if both people wanted to be wolves and just kind of run around on some adventure, radical 3D levels and radical goals. Some of the goals could require cooperative playing, like maybe the bird could pick up the wolf and drop him, and he could pick up speed and get a super jump, like the highest jump in the game or something. I don't know. That game just seemed more like a fun roam game. This game I'm pretty excited about. I've been thinking about it and I'm really inspired about it, but I don't think I'd ever be able to fully build it. I'm not sure what I would call it. Maybe Islander or ILERDUNDER. Basically, creatures are coming. The greater your numbers, the harder they try. Camouflage yourself so they can't see you. Hold still. night and day methods of survival, dig holes, make traps, try to defend buildings, and find military weapons. So basically you're on an island and you're working on an experimental project in an underground laboratory when all of a sudden something goes wrong. Emergency protocol says to exit the building. So now you're going to try to survive, thrive, and escape. So you have smart AI to help take over like buildings, rescue more people, multiplayer. It'd have to be all kinds of secrets in the game, missions, submissions, survival techniques. So there'd be different types of monsters or creatures or whatever they are that try to kill you. Maybe you could sharpen sticks, dig a hole, but you'd have to find actual items to be able to do it. If you're outside, maybe certain ones won't kill you in certain areas at certain times if you perform certain things, like hiding in a tree, because they all crawl across the ground, and they'll only kill you if you're on the ground or something. I don't know. I definitely have to spend a lot of time thinking up monsters and like clever ways where you could catch them and maybe make the monsters fight each other or tame them. Or I doubt you'd be able to tame these creatures. They'd be really violent. And the more people you have with you, so you might have like one AI that you find hiding up in a tree, and you say, hey, you want to join me? And this AI won't join you unless you have less than 2 people following you around trying to survive. So then if you did, and they said, alright, I'll join you, and you tried to get more people, they would abandon you and go hide in a tree by themselves or something, because maybe that's the easiest way to survive. And there would be different ways to win the game, maybe places to explore and go to find out more information about the game, and different methods to play for fun.